curve Tiffany, but just need to get myself together. I'm a mess. I curve's a really good guy for a narcissistic household. But welcome back. Oh my god, do you guys remember when Gabby Hanna used to do that? I literally, so somebody has like a Gabby Hanna archive, all the videos that she archived, and I've been like binge watching them the past couple days. Although Gabby Hanna is who she is, you cannot say that she did not give us some entertaining ass story times. I'm sorry, but the era of like Jessie Smiles, Gabby Hanna, Carrie Dayton, like all those like former story time tellers, that was the era to be on YouTube. Everything else that everybody got going on now, in comparison to then, they walked so we could run. I'm coming at y'all live today with an Adrian update and a story time that I forgot about because of this Adrian update. Now, I have myself, where's the bottle of the wine?
Where's the bottle of the wine?
I have myself a nice glass of wine because, wow. First of all, okay, let's backtrack. If you don't know who Adrian is and you're new here, Adrian is my pathological liar. Can I talk? Pathological liar, narcissistic ex. I did about probably like 6 story times of him on my channel talking about our relationship, the downfall of it, all the lies, the manipulation. He ended up getting another girl pregnant while we were together, cheating on me with his coworker while we were living together. Like, it was a whole thing. So if you're not caught up to speed, I'm going to leave a playlist in the description referencing those videos so you can be caught up. If you're caught up, that means you're probably an OG, or probably means that you just binge watch my stories because you're bored like me. Thank you for being here. And trust and believe, we are going to get into how Adrian apologized. I'm going to read you guys the whole entire message, dissect it, etc. But before we get into that, I really quickly want to talk to you about something, because in this story time, I'm going to be telling you about a time where I was supposed to be going on a date, getting my life right, meeting a new guy. My car didn't start, okay? Of course, I was trying to get my life right, trying to get out of the toxicity. Maybe if I had this product in my life at this time, I could have been with somebody better and somebody new and somebody who wouldn't have given me trauma and somebody that wouldn't have treated me the way that all these men over these past years have treated me. But then I wouldn't have had a YouTube channel, so I guess let's thank God that that happened. That's why I'm so happy to be showing you guys this really cool product. And just hear me out for 1 minute, because I swear to God, if you are a girl or if you are just not knowledgeable about cars, you're gonna want to take advantage of what I'm showing you today. The company I'm talking about today is Fixed. Fixed is a sensor that plugs in right into your OBD2 port. Don't worry, I'm going to show y'all in a couple minutes, super quick. So you basically stick this right into your OB2 port, and then through Bluetooth, you can connect to your phone. There's like a super cool free app that you can download, and it basically runs a quick diagnostic and tells you what is wrong with your car and tells you what you need to fix. It even gives you options to car shops that are in your area, so you can go and get your stuff taken care of right away. Also, if you end up downloading the premium app, it'll tell you a ballpark of like how much the labor will cost. That way you know exactly what you have to pay for. Us as women, I feel like when we go into car shops, we're always getting scammed, or we're always getting told like that our car needs like thousands of dollars of work on it. I can't even tell you how many times I've been done dirty by so many car shops, bringing my car in there and like, oh, you need an alignment even though you got one 6 months ago. Oh, you need an oil change. Oh, you need a new battery, X, Y, and Z. And because like I'm not knowledgeable about cars, I'm just like, okay, here's my card, like take my coin. And I have no idea if what they're telling me is actually true or not. It also reminds you of when you have to get your oil change. I literally have so many women in my life who have an oil change horror story. My best friend Amanda literally blew up her new car's engine on the highway because she did not get an oil change. I'm so sorry, Amanda, if you're watching. It's not funny, but like it kind of is at the same time. I think it's so convenient, and honestly, I think every woman could use one of these, or just everybody in general can see the exact maintenance issue that has to be fixed. And it even provides you with the code, so you can go to a car shop and say, hey, this is the code that is wrong with my car, this is what I need fixed, and get your stuff together and moving it on your way. And the cool thing too is it diagnoses at least over 7,000 check engine light errors, things other than that too. It tells you about your battery, tells you if it's safe to keep driving or not, tells you if it's like severe or not really that severe, so that way you could have peace of mind while driving. Normally these go for anywhere over $59, but today if you click the link in my description, you can get this for literally $16.99. That's literally over 67% off. And the good thing too is like I'm going to look for a new car soon, and if you're going to look for a new car or used car, whatever the case may be, you can take this with you, stick it in there, and just make sure that you're buying a car that is good. And my subscribers personally works at Fix, so I am definitely coming to you guys with a product that is trustworthy and backed up with 10,000 5 5-star reviews. I definitely would never be on here showing you guys something that I don't use personally in my everyday life. So if you would like to try Fix today for only $16.99, go ahead and click the link in my description. Fix, thank you so much for partnering with me, for supporting my channel. And now let's get on to today's story time. So the other day I am just sitting in my kitchen. I had just gotten back from the pool with Aubrey, my daughter, and I'm just chilling. I'm minding my business as one normally does. I'm chilling, I'm hanging out, and I end up going on my phone. And here's the thing, I'm never on Facebook. I don't know about you guys, but Facebook is such a thing of the past for me. The only reason why I have it is to just update family, like if Aubrey, you know, graduates or something happens and I want to put on Facebook for other people to see. But other than that, I really do not go on Facebook at all. So much to the point where I don't even have the app downloaded on my phone. So if I ever want to like check Facebook or something, what ends up happening is I'll go to the Safari tab, I will type in Facebook, put in my password, and check it that way because I'm never on it. Just eating myself a nice bowl of tater tot taco casserole, and something tells me to go on Facebook. I don't know what it is, but every fiber of my body was like, check your Facebook, check your Facebook, check your Facebook. I go and I check my Facebook. And on Facebook, if you don't have the app downloaded and you go it on the Safari tab, if somebody messages you, it will basically, as soon as you get on Facebook, show you the first line of the message. But you can't read it unless you download the Messenger app, or if you have like a MacBook, a laptop, or something like I have right here, and then you can read it. Tell me how it says Adrian's name. And I was like, there's no fucking way. There is no way. Is Mercury in fucking Gatorade? Are the stars misaligned? What is happening right now? I was literally in disbelief, you guys. In fucking disbelief. I could not believe it. There was no way. So in my mind, I'm like, before I read this message, is he going to cuss me out for making videos about him? Is he going to like say something to me that, like, I don't know, he did something and wants to confess from years ago? I don't know. Keep in mind the last time me and Adrian spoke was 2018. So he has no reason at all to be reaching out to me. So I was like super like, what the fuck is going on? So I literally run. I don't walk. I run upstairs. I grab open my laptop and I open it. And he apologized. You guys, Adrian apologized to me. I feel like I should just share the message with you guys because you guys have been on this ride with me of the Adrian series. You guys have seen me cry. You guys have seen me express so much emotion. I feel like at this point, y'all are as invested into this series as I am. And I know that the last video I made of, you know, finally leaving my toxic relationship, I said that like this would be the last Adrian story time. I feel like this can kind of just end the series for all of us together. So, and also I have a story time that I remembered because he messaged me. So let's read it. The message reads as follows. Hey Dakota, I'm just contacting you to apologize for all the wrong things I've done and how I mistreated you. I've done a lot of growing up and reflecting on my past, and I feel like I owe you and Aubrey an apology. Aubrey is my daughter. I messed up my life pretty bad during that time. It's embarrassing for me to see that now. I hope all is well with you and Aubrey. There's no need to contact me back. To be honest, I'm really not expecting anything in return. I just wanted to say I'm sorry and that you deserved better from me. I didn't want to hurt you. I was lost in a world of temptations, and now seeing how toxic I was with you, this just isn't right on my end. I was a very bad judge of character. I hope you can forgive my past, but if you can't, that's fine, and I understand. God bless, take care. Hope Aubrey is growing to be a power woman like you. So, reading this message, although Adrian has done horrible, unspeakable, toxic, horrendous things to me, I'm not gonna lie, reading that message was nice. It was nice to, number one, see somebody hold themselves accountable and to not gaslight and manipulate and be like, I'm sorry, but I only did this because you made me, or you evoked a emotion in me and I had no choice but to react, because that's kind of like what he used to do back in the day. Like, he was a master manipulator, he was a pathological liar. So anytime that I ever tried to bring up things that he would do, he would always make it seem like it was because of something that I did, or he'd always try to make it seem like it was because of me. So I'm not gonna lie, reading that, because I'm not gonna lie, you guys, after we broke up, I was devastated, and I was the one who finally like put the nail in the coffin. I couldn't do it anymore. But I definitely spent years wondering, like, damn, like, I wonder if he ever cared about me, or damn, I wonder if he ever actually loved me, or damn, I wonder if he ever like just wakes up and is like, wow, like, I treated Dakota so bad, I was so horrible to her, and all she ever wanted to do was like see me succeed. Like, I just always would sit there and wonder, like, is he sorry? But eventually I had to be okay with an apology that was never going to come. And by now I am like so completely moved on from that situation, especially when I did the videos here on YouTube. That was me like just therapy, like releasing everything from that relationship, and now I can like confidently say like I am 100% over that shit. But I'm not gonna lie, reading that was really kind of like good closure for me. Even though I gave myself closure a long time ago, I moved on and things like that. It was nice to read, I'm not going to lie. In no means am I reading it and I'm like, oh my god, he loves me, oh my god, let's get back together. No, not at all, never in a million years. However, I do read that and I also see such personal growth within myself, because if this was the old Dakota who let men mistreat her, who let men walk all over her, who let men into her life that she was way better than, I would have been crawling back to him being like, oh my god, thanks for the apology, how are you doing, let's hang out, or something, you know what I mean? Like I would have like somewhat gotten sucked back into that. But the woman that I am now, who I'm so proud to be embodying, has grown and changed so much that I simply read that apology and I just kind of was like, okay, cool, thank you. And I didn't say that, I just mentally, and then I closed my laptop and I moved on about my day, and that was it. But him giving me that apology reminded me of a story time that I never told you guys. And it is a story time about how, number one, I curved an amazing, beautiful man for Adrian's funky, stupid ass. But also how I like semi got my lick back, because, okay, I didn't do anything, but like I kind of did at the same time. You guys are gonna see what I'm talking about. Stick around for the story, grab your wine, grab your snacks, grab some popcorn, grab a notepad, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story time.
Been a minute since we last kicked. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky.
So this story is going to take place at the end of 2016, right near when Christmas was coming around. It was like the beginning of December. And I'm sitting in my house. I had just gotten my new apartment, and this was during the time where I got in my apartment in like July, I want to say. Adrian and I moved in together. And basically like 2-3 weeks after, I ended up finding out that he was cheating on me with his coworker, who ended up moving out, getting with her. They ended up breaking up September-ish, and then we ended up getting back together in October. But we were not officially back together. We were just, basically it was the same shit every time. We would get back together, but there was no title on it. He would stay at my house, eat my food, take a shower, or, you know, use all my water and shit. But we were never like, we didn't like have like the label back on things, right? So we were not officially together, and I know in my mind, I'm not stupid, he was probably talking to like 3 other girls at that time while trying to tell me that he basically wanted me. So there was one night where I had this like event the next day. I had to go to a professional development day. If you work at an early childhood education center or a daycare or anything for that matter, you know that you have these days where basically all the daycare workers from all of the regions, like, okay, I'm not gonna say a daycare I worked at, but say I worked at a place called like Duck Pond or something, right? All the duck ponds in the region, in Connecticut, in like, you know, in Hamden, in Stratford, in Westport, all around the state, come to one general location, and we have like a day of learning, like learning better ways to handle the kids and learning how to make our classroom a better environment, and, you know, getting NACE accredited and things like that of that nature. So I remember it was the night before that I had to go to this thing, right? And he was asking me to sleep over. He ends up coming over, right? And he ends up, you know, we end up sleeping in the same bed. I wake up that morning and I start to get ready to go to this professional development day. I had to wake up at the ass crack of dawn. It was so freaking annoying, but I was just happy to not be like working that day. Like honestly, during those days, I just like watched the videos they presented, barely participated, and I was just chilling, right? I was just happy that I didn't have to be like actual work wiping children's asses for $12 an hour. Now that here or there, I end up waking up and something in my gut tells me, bitch, look at this man's phone, he is playing you. Here's the thing. I have very good intuition. It is like literally a gift I was born with. I've seen multiple sidekicks, multiple mediums, multiple spiritual advisors who have said to me, you have some of the like the most strongest gift of intuition that I've ever seen in an individual, but you don't listen to it. It's kind of like a car, right? You get a car and you have everything that you need for it, but you don't put gas in it. It can't go anywhere. Same thing with intuition without discernment. When you have intuition, you know, like your body tells you don't talk to that person, or your body tells you don't go here or don't go there, or this person's bad for you. Your body tells you these things, but you don't have the discernment to see if it's true or if it's not, or you don't trust yourself enough to believe in your decisions that if I leave this individual, everything's going to be fine because the universe always has my back, and you lack that discernment, your intuition means shit, okay? It means nothing. So something was telling me, girl, this man is fucking playing you. This man is playing you. Check his freaking phone. So I ended up going in his phone, and I am not stupid. I long past skip the messages because that's not where men hide shit. Men hide shit in Snapchat, in Kik, when Kik was a thing, and in WhatsApp, okay? Because what they do is they have an app in their phone where they can turn off the notifications. That way, if their mistress or their girl that, you know, they're cheating on you with or talking to on the side is texting them, they won't get the notification. Also, because they think that we're stupid and that we'll only check the messages. Now, okay, well, I don't check guys' phones anymore, but back then when I used to, I would always skip the messages and go straight to Snapchat because that is where they do their cheating. So I go straight to Snapchat and I see about messages from 2 girls, and one of the girls is one that I used to go to high school with, okay? And remember this girl, we're just gonna call her Natalie. So I ended up opening and I'm like, oh, why is he talking to Natalie? That's kind of weird because I know they didn't go to the same high school, I know they didn't go to the same middle school, so that's a little bit weird. I open it up and for some reason this idiot forgot to unsave the chats because back in the day Snapchat used to automatically save chats, and now you have the option to save it. Some men, if they have it clear after like 24 hours. Super red flag, be on the lookout for that. So I see this girl, Natalie, and I'm like, why are him and Natalie talking? Why is he even messaging another girl, period? So I end up looking at the Snapchats, and it's them basically flirting back and forth. She's sending him pictures, not like nudes or nothing like that, but like just sending him like selfies and stuff, and like they're flirting back and forth. And that was enough for me, but I was like, you know what? Nah, I need to see something else. So I go into another girl's message, okay? And she is full on sending him pics, like flirting with him, telling him to come over. And let me just say, he definitely was denying it. Like a lot of times he wouldn't respond, or if he did, it was very just like casual and surface level area. But the fact that he's even letting that door crack open for another girl to talk to him is enough. Because here's the thing, ladies, you can blame the girls all you freaking want, but at the end of the day, your man is leaving the door open for girls to come in and out, okay? If he is not blocking them, completely shutting that shit down, telling them, hey, this is inappropriate, I have a girlfriend, and then if they don't listen to that, you know, like blocking them or telling them not to talk to him, if he is not sticking up for your relationship, he's leaving that door open. He is completely leaving that door open for a girl to come in and out, do whatever she wants, and then if she sees that he's leaving that door open, she's gonna take advantage of it because he never says anything back. Like he never sticks up for your relationship or says I have a girl or says, hey, stop doing this. So he is leaving that door fully open for a bitch to come in and to home wreck. So that was enough for me to see. But please remember Natalie, the girl I used to go to middle school with, wasn't his phone. Remember that shit. Okay. So I basically was done. This was after, you know, he had cheated on me with his coworker. I didn't know he cheated on me at the time, but like I kind of did, but like I didn't want to believe it, but there was no concrete evidence. But now I know for sure that he absolutely did because there was confirmation. But this was after he, you know, moved out, like showed up to the house, moved all of his stuff out. I was so devastated and depressed and heartbroken for those 2 months. And then, you know, he came back and he basically was like, yeah, you know, like I want to be with you, but I'm not ready for a relationship right now. Like I need to work on myself. Can we just, you know, do what we've been doing and keep it casual? And then, you know, we'll see where it goes type of shit, right? The kind of stuff that he always does. So I was just so over all the hurt, all the sorrow. He already done so many messed up things to me. I'd already caught him doing so much fuck shit that I was like, I am absolutely done. This is just annoying. This is energetically draining. I have nothing left to give. So I literally placed his phone on my dresser and I put a note next to it. And I basically said, I saw everything I needed to see. When you wake up, get the fuck out of my house and don't come back. I literally left him a note next to his phone. I would have paid cash money to see what his face looked like when he woke up that morning and saw that fucking note. So I go to my professional development day. I think around like 10 a.m. I get all these text messages, all these flooding of text messages into my phone, and he's like, I'm so sorry, like what did you see, can you tell me what you saw, because I don't even know what you're talking about, so I can't really like justify it because I don't know what you're talking about. And in my mind I'm like, okay, so that means that you're doing way more than what I even saw, because I didn't have much time to look through his phone because I had to be somewhere at a certain time. But basically, like, what more are you doing that you don't even know what I fucking saw? And he just is blowing up my phone and I'm not fucking answering because I am so livid and so over it. So I ignore him the whole day. I come home, I cook my dinner, take myself a nice bath, decompress, whatever. And he basically is just going on and on about how he's sorry, give him another chance, texting me, calling me, this and that. I am completely ignoring him because I just don't care at this point. I truly in my heart was like, I know this is going to end soon. I'm not 100% ready yet, but I know it's going to end soon, and like it needs to end like ASAP because I'm over it. So basically what had happened is, I don't know how, but somehow, some way, I end up letting this motherfucker freaking semi come back into my life on the agreement of, listen, I am getting to my point where I am fucking over this. I already forgave you for all the shit you did to me. We talked about how we're gonna do better. Yes, I know we're not in a relationship, but you're sleeping in my bed every night. I'm fucking cooking for you. You're taking a shower. You're using my water. Like, you're here all, like, not all the time, but he was there like at least 2-3 times a week. Like, you need to fucking respect me, because if you don't freaking start respecting me, you don't stop this shit. I don't care if we're in a relationship or not. If you are sleeping at my house and you are telling me that you love me and telling me that you see a future with me and I'm the only girl that has ever made you feel like this, blah, 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 you should not be flirting with fucking anybody. And I literally said, imagine that you looked at my phone and you saw that shit. How would you feel? And there was actually one time, dead ass, one time he looked at my phone, one time, and he went through a Snapchat of me and my friend Keyshawn, and he basically was saying something to me. I don't remember what, but it wasn't even like flirting. He completely took it out of context. It was like literally me and one of like my best guy friends, and he had said something to me, and Adrian got so mad at me. He got so fucking mad at me. He was like, what the fuck is this? Why are you talking to this guy? Blah, 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 blah. And I looked at the phone, and it was literally a Snapchat, because like I said, Snapchat used to automatically save all of the chats in your messages. And I literally looked at it and I was like, first of all, this was in September. It is now November. September, we weren't together. You were still with fucking Nikki's funky ass, okay? So I'm like, what are you talking about? And I look at the message and it was like so freaking innocent, you guys. Do you want to know this man, Adrian, slept on the couch that night and didn't talk to me at all because he was so mad at that one message he saw, as if you didn't cheat on me with your coworker after 2 weeks of us living together, as if you didn't show up to my house with a moving truck unbeknownst to me, taking all of your shit and fucking leaving, as if you don't owe me over $1,000. Sir, as if you have not, I've not caught you multiple times Facebook messaging, kicking girls from your freaking job at your gymnastics studio that you had to leave and quit because you felt guilty about still working there and being with me. Like, are you okay? It has to be drugs, cocaine, or crack. It has to be something. Is
it crack, cocaine, or meth you smoke?
I know. I just know you're not serious right now. And that's the thing about men, is they will do the worst shit to you, but you get your lick back one time and they are sick in the stomach. And I didn't even get my lick back. I didn't even get my revenge. I literally was messaging a friend. But that's what these guys do. They're so fucking guilty that they see one little thing that may be taken out of context, or maybe like a guy could like literally be DMing you, constantly flirting with you, and you could say nothing and they will be sick even though they've cheated on you multiple times. I fucking can't. Ends up happening is somehow he convinces me to let, you know, him back into my life, okay? So around the time that this happened, I want to say it was like the beginning of December, and I had decided that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, okay? So I was like getting all my stuff ready. I asked, you know, for Christmas, I asked my mom if she can get me a couple of softbox lights. I was working on what camera I wanted to get. I was ready to do the damn thing, and I wanted to do beauty videos, but then I also kind of wanted to do story time videos, and I'm so happy that I did not start my story time series back then. I would not have been ready. I would not have known what to do with it, and also I acquired way more stories that I tell you guys now, but at that time, I remember specifically I wanted to start a Storytime channel. I remember bringing it up to Adrian, and he literally said to me, he was like, Dakota, just stick to beauty channels. Nobody's gonna watch that. Nobody is gonna care about the stories that you tell. No one's gonna want to watch that. Just stick with beauty, stick with makeup. Like, you're pretty, you're good at makeup, just do that. Hence, freaking fast forward 4 years later, the video that I made about him has like literally over, I think, 200,000 views, and literally put me on the map for my Storytime channel. So how's that, Adrian? How is that for karma? But anyway, so I remember I was like getting all that stuff ready, whatever, and I was just ready to change my life. I was just so over being in a miserable relationship. I didn't like my job. I didn't like my lifestyle and the way that it was heading. And there was one morning that I woke up and Adrian was not at my house. He had just left maybe like 4 hours prior, right? And he had to go to work. So I remember I woke up and I started doing laundry. I was folding my laundry and out of nowhere I get a message on Facebook. And at this time, I was on Facebook a lot. And it's a message from this guy, and we're gonna give him the name Levi for this story. So I get a message, and it's from this guy named Levi. Now, let me just say, Levi and I had apparently been Facebook friends for some time because we both grew up in Stratford. So a lot of times if you see somebody who is also grown up in the same town as you, or maybe they come up as a mutual friend and you look at their picture, you think they're kind of cute, they kind of just add you. So it's basically what happened is he ended up adding me and I didn't think anything of it, but I did notice a couple days leading up to him messaging me on Facebook that he was liking a lot of my pictures, but I am not that girl that's ever gonna message somebody first. It's just not in my character. So I just let it be. So he messages me and he's like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? And I'm like, oh, because let me say, you guys, Levi was gorgeous. Levi was so good looking. He was beautiful, and he was in the military, plus he was a cop. So a man in uniform, girl, my cup of tea. Okay, so I looked at him and I'm like, I know this gorgeous beautiful man is not messaging me on Facebook right now. I know it's not happening. Now listen, if I was in a committed relationship, or if I was dating somebody who didn't cheat on me, who didn't go behind my back, and I didn't catch him in multiple lies, I'm a loyal girl, okay? When I have a man, I only have eyes for him. But at this point, I had been so sick of Adrian shit that I said, you know what? I'm gonna answer him.
Yes, I did that.
And I messaged him back and I'm like, oh, hey, like, you know, not much. I'm just here folding laundry. How are you? And he writes back and he's like, oh, well, I actually just came back from a hike. I'm doing laundry as well. I'm about to go get a car wash, walk my dog, and then I'm gonna go on a hike. I actually wanted to see like what you were up to today and see if maybe you'd like to join me. You guys don't understand. This is literally me in a nutshell. I love going places early. I love hiking. I love dogs. I don't love dogs, but I love huskies. I just love like being active and doing stuff. So I messaged him back and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I actually can't because I have my daughter with me today and we're going to a Christmas fair tonight to go see the tree lighting. But I was like, take me down for a rain check. And he's like, oh, okay, well, here's my number. If you ever wanted to hang out or do anything, you know, go ahead and text me. He was like, I would really like to get to know you. And I was just like, oh my God, I know this is not happening right now. I know that this is not happening right now. And I tell you guys, this man was beautiful, beautiful, like chef's fucking kiss. So I ended up getting his number, and through him getting my number, he ends up finding me on Snapchat, adding me on there. So I ended up actually just like messaging him a bit on Snapchat because sometimes it's just easier to talk on Snapchat than it is to talk on a regular like phone. So we start messaging on there and we are just getting to know each other, and he kind of asks me, you know, like what my relationship status is. And I basically told him, I was like, well, me and my ex are, you know, currently like not really like together right now. We're kind of on like a on and off type of thing. And I ended up telling him kind of like what our relationship entailed, and he was kind of like, wow, that's like really annoying, like that you have to deal with that. You definitely don't deserve that. You should be with somebody who's like more mature, has their shit together. And I'm like, yeah, I know, tell me about it. I hear a knock on my door, and I was like, it was rare that I ever got knocks on my door because the street that I lived on was like a very quiet street. There was a lot of older people on there. The neighbor that I had upstairs, her and I didn't really like talk much or interact much. She was nice, but she like, you know, kept to herself. I never really got like packages delivered, so I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, who the fuck is knocking at my door? So I look through my blinds and tell me why Adrian is outside of my house. And you guys, Adrian has never showed up to my house without telling me. Never in a million years. And I'm over here panicking because I'm over here texting Levi, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So he knocks on my door and I open the door and I was like, hello? And he comes in and he's like, hi.
He's like, I actually ended up getting a later shift at work, and so I wanted to come here and spend time with you.
And I was just like, oh, okay. And then he's like,
what, you're not happy to see me? I thought you'd be happy to see me. I wanted to surprise you.
And I was like, oh no, it's not that I'm not happy, it's just I wanted to film, like I was gonna start my YouTube channel today. And he's like,
oh, well, go do it. And I was
like, no, I don't really want to like film in front of you, that's kind of weird. And he's like,
okay, well, like I'm already here.
And I was like, all right, yeah, just like go and sit on the couch, I guess. So he sits on the couch, me and him ended up watching a movie with Aubrey, and then he ends up going to work. And this whole time, I want him to leave because I want to text Levi. I'm not even lying to you guys. Something felt good about talking to Levi. I think it was because I finally realized, like, I don't have to be in this relationship where I'm settling. I don't have to be in this relationship where I'm getting lied to, manipulated, cheated on. Like, I can actually be with somebody else and be happy, right? So he ends up leaving and I like rush to my phone. I end up texting Levi. We have a really good conversation. And then my best friend Tori comes over and we go to the Christmas festival, which was the tree lighting in Naugatuck, the town that I was living in. And I'm there and we are just talking and we're chatting and catching her up. And I ask her, I'm like, hey, do you know who this guy is? And I show her his picture because they both grew up in Stratford. So she knows a lot of guys that I don't know. And also her sister knows a lot of people that I don't know either. So I show her his picture and she's like, you know what, actually, she goes, I don't like know him personally, but I know of him because like I told you guys, he was in the military. So when he came home for the military, he came home to like surprise his mom. And there was a video of him coming into a restaurant and surprising her, and it got put on like the news. Like the news picked it up and was like, I don't know what it was called, but they basically were saying like, oh, look how cute, like the son came back from, you know, being deployed to visit his mom and surprised her and his family. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, because I could just see from the video that he was very family oriented. He treated his mom like a queen. He had a really good relationship with his parents. But then in the background I see a really familiar face and I'm like, hold on, whoa, wait, backtrack. I was like, rewind that video because she's showing me the video and I'm like, no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Do you want to know who is in the background of his video?
It's Natalie. It's Natalie.
The girl that I caught Adrian Snapchatting. It's Natalie. And I'm like, wait, why is Natalie there? She goes, oh, that's his sister.
Cut the cameras.
You're joking. There's no fucking way. This is just my life. This is literally just my life. Like, why is this my life? And you wanna know what's funny is that in middle school, me and Natalie were good friends. We were like good friends. So it just made the whole thing so much weirder. So I'm like, oh fuck. And she goes, what? And I told her the story and she goes, damn, that's awkward. I said, I know. She goes, I don't know him personally, but I know of him and he's like a really good guy. And I was just like, okay, good to know. So I take it with a grain of salt that he's sisters with the girl that was trying to sneak up on my man, but whatever. I'm like, whatever, cool, I don't care. Moving on. We go to the Christmas festival. We have a really good night. Now, the weeks leading up to what the next month would be consisted of me and Levi talking all the time, okay? He worked, I think, first shift or third shift at his job. So basically he had a shift where he worked from like midnight to like 6 a.m. the next morning. So he was working a really like crazy shift Monday to Friday, and then he had weekends off. But then there would be like some days where he would have the day off. His schedule was just like really weird. So there would be times where like I was gonna go to sleep and he would be like going to work, and we would like talk for a little bit, and he would like, you know, show me like on Snapchat and stuff that he was like walking his dog. When I was waking up that morning, he would be like leaving work, and so we would just talk like all morning. So we talked literally all the motherfucking time, okay? I found out so much about him. I found out, you know, when he went to the military, stuff that he endured, and I found out, you know, like why he wanted to become a cop, and I found out stuff that like, you know, led him to the career decisions that he was making today. And I basically would tell him, you know, about me and how I'm a single mom and how, you know, I work in early childhood, but I'm going to school for psychology. Basically, we just started just opening up to each other about our lives, about our families, about our personal and, you know, big goals, small goals, things like that. And he basically was saying to me, he was like, yeah, you know, like at the end of the day, you know, I have a really good job, I have a really good house, I have my dog, I have my whole life in order, but the only thing that's missing is like a wife. Like the only thing that's missing is like me being with somebody and being happy, and that's really what I want. He was like, I have my shit together, like I really just want a good girl in my life who's supportive, who's loving, who's caring, that can kind of just like basically like finish the puzzle for me. He goes, who knows, maybe it could be you. And I was just like, now looking back, that was kind of weird because like you haven't even met me yet in person. I could be psycho. This is what guys don't get. A lot of guys will like meet me in person or like find me on Facebook and be like, oh my God, she's so pretty, right? Like she's so pretty, she's so cute, like she looks like a really good girl. And then they're like, oh, like I want to be with you. I want you to be my girlfriend. I want you to marry me. I could be psychotic. I could literally be the type of bitch to slash your tires, bust the windows in your car. You have no idea because you don't know me. Just because a girl's pretty doesn't mean she's psychotic. I'm not psychotic. But like, you don't know that, right? At the time, I was so young. I was like in my early 20s. So I was like, oh my God, he loves me. So me and Levi keep continuing conversation, and it gets to the point where he's asking me to hang out. Now, if you guys are OGs here, you know from all of my story times that I am so bad at dating. I hate dating. I get so nervous, so anxious. I hate like going to a restaurant, sitting down with a guy, having the small talk, telling each other our favorite fucking colors, like, you know, going back and forth. I literally can't stand it. The awkward banter, the awkward silence that comes in between because you don't know what to talk about next. Like, it is literally scrutinizing to me. So I hate going on dates. A lot of times in my early 20s, I would ghost guys all the time. They'd ask me out on a date and then I just like wouldn't talk to them again. And that is so messed up. And I have learned and grown and changed from that because that's not okay. But it never was because like I didn't like the guy or I didn't want to go out with the guy. It was because like I literally was just so fucking nervous that I couldn't do it. So he kept asking me to hang out. I kept making excuses constantly. On to the discussion because I just wanted to ask him, which I ask every guy when I first start talking, you know, I have a child and I'm a single mom. Does that bother you? It's a lot. So like, I understand why some people are like, I don't want to be with somebody with kids. Like, I get it, trust and believe. So I asked him the question, basically was like,
you know, it's not like an ideal situation. Like, I can't say that, like, you know, it's like completely ideal. Like, obviously, if I had a choice and it was the other way around, I would choose like not. But he goes, you know, I guess, you know, yeah, like I'd be okay with it. But like, you know, what's your situation? Is the baby daddy involved? Does he pay child support, X, Y, and Z?
And you guys, that was such a turn off for me because I'm like, if you're talking to somebody and wanting to go on a date with them and they have a kid, in your mind, you should be okay with them having fucking kids. Otherwise, why are you going on a date with them? To say to somebody, like, I totally get him saying, obviously it's not ideal, but you know, I'm accepting with it, I'm okay with it. But for you to say, if it was the other way around, I'd want it to be the opposite, is such a turn off for me. And at the end of the day, my daughter always comes first before anybody, before anyone. I will never choose anybody over her. My kid comes first because my kid did not ask to get brought here, okay? If I get into a marriage, I am voluntarily committing to a man, voluntarily choosing to say yes to somebody. My daughter did not ask to be brought here, so she will come first before anybody, before anyone, point blank, period, the end. And let me just say this guy was the full package, okay? He had an amazing job, 2 jobs, okay? Amazing jobs. He had a beautiful house, amazing car, a beautiful husky dog, a good head on his shoulders. He was a Virgo, okay? He cooked, he cleaned the whole entire night. I literally would like be messaging him half the time. He'd be like, yeah, I'm mopping my house right now. Like I did it yesterday, my floors got dirty again. He'd be like, yeah, I'm doing my laundry right now, or oh, I'm cleaning the bathroom, or oh, I'm vacuuming, I'm cleaning out my car, I'm cleaning the gutters. I don't care what anybody says. When a man cleans, that shit is attractive. And my Virgo rising is like, yes, please give me more of it. He was the whole night. He cooked, he meal prepped for himself, went to the gym every single day. Like, everything in a guy that I could possibly want was Levi. But the fact that he said that when it came to like my child was a really big turnoff for me. So of course he keeps asking me if I want to hang out. I keep making excuses, and finally I just am like, you know what, I don't know if I could talk to him because what he said really left a bad taste in my mouth. But instead of being an adult and communicating that and saying like, hey, I don't really like how you said that, is this really how you feel, or did I misinterpret it, or you know, can you explain yourself again, or you know, I don't think this is gonna work out, I did what old Dakota did and I ghosted him. So me and Adrian are still talking at this point, but I'm not hanging out with Adrian as much because my plan was to slowly drift away from Adrian and just completely be done with him and then start talking to Levi. But I just ended up falling back into something that was comfortable, and me and Adrian end up basically starting to work on getting back together. Everything goes great. He ends up taking me to New York to go see the tree, to go ice skating at Rockefeller Center. We go to Starbucks, we go and, you know, have like a nice dinner somewhere, and it was a really, really good time. And when I was there, tell me this, Adrian barely posted me on his social media. He posted me maybe like every now and then, and everybody knew he had a girlfriend. The weird thing is that everybody knew we were together and they knew about us, but he would never post me like on his page on Instagram. Like, you know, on someone's page you can like post a picture of you and your man. He never ever in our relationship did that, but I would always do it on mine. And then this is before Instagram had stories, because we were on specifically on Snapchat. I would always post him on my Snapchat story, but he rarely, maybe like once in a while, like would post me on there. He did post me, don't get me wrong. He used to post me actually a lot when we first got in our relationship, but then after we moved in together, I don't think he ever put me on his story, obviously because he didn't want his coworker, even though all of his coworkers knew we were together, he wanted to be with Nikki, so that's why he wasn't posting me. But then we got back together and I'm just like, dude, why are you not posting me now? Like, what the fuck? So he never over those past 4 months posted me. Tell me why. We go to New York and he posts me on his Snapchat, and I look at it and I open it and I'm like, oh, like he posted me, cool. So we go ice skating, we do all that, and then he looks at me, he goes, so you're not gonna post me on your story? And I was like, I mean, like, do you want me to? And he's like, well, I posted you. He's like, that was my whole like plan, is like to bring you here and like post you on my social media so everybody could see that we're back together, because like I want you to be like my girlfriend again. And I was like, fuck, because I still have Levi on my Snapchat, and yes, I kind of like ghosted him in a sense, but we were still like every once in a while like messaging. Like he would like send me a funny meme where I would post something, he'd be like, oh, you look pretty. So like I had to like completely ghosted him. I just wasn't like talking to him as much. So I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I do what my mind comes up with, and it's to block him from seeing my story. So I block him from seeing my story on Snapchat. I start posting Adrian, everything's going good, and then that comes and goes, Christmas comes and goes, and then January ends up happening. And January was when everything went to shit. Part 2 of my narcissistic and pathological relationship was when I ended up finding out about Amanda, the girl that he cheated on me with, and ended up getting pregnant, okay? So I ended up finding out about that, and that is when I was just done. I was like, you know what, like, nope, I'm over this. Like, you have literally fucked me over one too many times. This was too far. Everything else was too far, don't get me wrong, but like this was too far. Like, you don't do that shit. So I ended up leaving him, and I ended up like one day like going on Snapchat and posting probably like a sad quote or meme, because I was just like an emo bitch back then. And Levi ends up messaging me. He's like, hey, what's wrong? Do you want to talk about something? I was just like, yeah, you know, like the guy that I was dating, I ended up finding out. I was like, do you remember that ex I told you I was like on and off with? And he goes, yeah. And I told him basically what had happened. I was like, yeah, you know, I ended up finding out that he cheated on me and got another girl pregnant. And he was like, oh my god, like what a piece of crap. I can't believe he did that. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you really just can't fucking trust guys these days. And I was like, no, like I know, like for real, that's crazy. And I told him, I said, the worst part is that it happened like a while ago. It happened like 4 months ago, and I'm just finding out about it now. And he's like, damn, Dakota, I'm so sorry. He's like, you don't fucking deserve that. And he's like, I just don't see, like, you're so pretty. And I was like, thank you. And he goes, no, like, you're so fucking pretty. Like, I don't understand how a guy could have you and cheat on you. Like, I really just, I don't get that. And so he just made me feel like really good about myself, honestly. So me and Levi ends up getting into a conversation. He basically was like, hey, like, what happened? Like, you kind of just like stopped talking to me. We were supposed to hang out. You ended up not really answering me that much. And I was just like, well, to be honest, you know, when I asked you about, are you okay with me having a kid? And like, you know, if we end up getting serious and things like that, you kind of gave me an answer that turned me off. And I told him, like, I just feel like you don't really even know me like that for you to be asking questions like about my daughter's father, like if he pays child support, etc. Like, I just thought that was kind of weird. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm looking back at it now and I feel like an asshole. I cannot believe I asked you those questions. He's like, I did not mean it that way. I'm so sorry. And I was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I was kind of childish too. I should have asked you for more clarification, communication. We can just, it's water under the bridge, whatever. So we basically just moved past that, like bygones be bygones, and we ended up talking a lot, like a lot more than ever before. And now we're like FaceTiming and things like this. And he's like, when am I going to finally see you? And I tell him what day I'm free, and he's like, okay, let's hang out Thursday. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I don't really know, like maybe we can go out to eat or something. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I really just want to hang out with you because I'm all about like vibes and connection. Like, I like to hang out with somebody, see if like the vibes are there, if the connection is good and things like that. And I was like, yeah, me too. Like, I'm totally excited. Like, I definitely can't wait to see you. And so the days leading up to it, he's like, I'm so excited, you know, like I can't wait to see you tomorrow, things like that. And then he The day before, he texts me, he's like, hey, so like, where do you want to go tomorrow? I don't answer him. And then he keeps texting me and I'm not answering him. And the day of that Thursday, he texts me, he's like, hey, are we still on for tonight? You guys, I don't answer him and I felt so bad, but I ghosted him again. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just really don't like dates and I don't like going on them, and I clearly was not in the emotional, mental state to be going on a date with somebody else. I just found out that my ex got somebody pregnant. Like, I should not have been going on dates with anybody else. But I like this guy a lot and I was like, oh my god, he's so cute. Like, we could have like such like a good life together. Like, he has everything that I fucking possibly want. But I wasn't like emotionally like mature enough yet. I was still in that stage where like I was addicted to being in a toxic fucking relationship. And I can definitely confidently say that I was not like how I am today. If he had come to me how I am today, if how I am today was how I was at that time, it would have been all fucking bets off. Like, I would have been totally fine with it. I would have left Adrian's stupid ass and went right to him, because like, you don't find guys like that in every lifetime, okay? Learn from my mistakes. Is we go like a month without talking and then we kind of start talking again, and it's basically the synopsis of like, I want to see you, but like I'm not gonna work for it anymore because like I've tried and you have like literally ghosted me every single time. So this one night comes around and he basically was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, nothing. I actually am kid free for the night. What are you doing? He's like, oh, I actually have tickets to a comedy show. Would you like to come with me? And I was like, oh yeah, like let's do it. So of course I'm running late because I run late to everything, and he's a Virgo and he doesn't like that. Virgos are like very on time with shit, right? So I'm already running late. I go into my car. I have all of my shit ready with me. I'm like so nervous to like finally go and meet this guy, right? I go into my car, I turn on the keys, and it doesn't turn on. And let me just say this, I am very on top of my car because my biggest fear is like this happening where like I have an interview or I have somewhere to go and my car is not turning on. Also, I have a kid, so I am on top of my maintenance, okay? I go to turn my car on and it's not turning on. And I'm like, okay, I just got a new battery a couple months ago. I know that my ignition is fine. Like, what is going on? You guys, my car is not turning on for anything and I'm already like running late. So I texted him and I was like, hey, I am so sorry, but like my car is not turning on and like I would love to say like come pick me up or whatever, this and that, but I was like, it's 6 o'clock. The shop right down the street from me is closing at 7 and like I need to figure out what's going on with my car because I worked at a daycare at the time, which I'm going to tell that story soon, I promise. But at this daycare, like you could not call out. You could literally wake up and have a fucking sword in your left toe and they would be like, okay, so I'll see you at 7:30. Like, they did not care, you guys. Like, you had to go, you could not call out, I swear to God. So I was like, I'm sorry, but like I really have to go get this fixed. And the thing is that it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? Like, after so many times, someone's not going to believe you. And I totally understand where he was coming from, where he didn't believe me. He was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, we're finally supposed to hang out. We're supposed to go to this comedy show, have a good night. And all of a sudden, like, your car is not fucking working. And I'm just like, I could not even be mad at him because had I not ghosted him so many times or curved him so many times, like, he probably would have believed me. He probably would have been like, oh, like, well, you know what? Like, how about we just do this instead? Or I can come to you and pick you up after you drop your car off. Like, whatever, right? So I felt so bad. The thing is at that time, had I had this, okay, had I had this thing to plug into my port and to see what was wrong with my car, I literally would have been able to plug this in, go into my phone and have somebody come to me or find somewhere nearby to go to it, quickly get it fixed and be on my freaking way. Do you know how much this literally would have helped me? Maybe if I had this at that time, I would have gotten a really good man and wouldn't have had to deal with the shit that I've had to deal with every year since then. But then I probably wouldn't have a YouTube channel either, so everything happens for a reason. I think like my battery voltage was low or something like that, so all I needed to do was like ask my neighbor like next door just to like jump my car to get the voltage back up, and then eventually think about planning to replace the battery, and I could have been on my way to my date, okay? He was kind of like upset with me. He's like, you know, it's fine, I understand, like I'm just gonna go like alone, like go get done with you, gotta get done with your car and we'll try for another night. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. So time comes and goes. I end up like literally like getting in another relationship with did I say his name was Jay? The guy in the story where I was like, my ex tried to play me or whatever. I ended up getting into a relationship with him during that time. Obviously it didn't freaking work out. One day Levi had posted something like really freaking funny on Snapchat. It was like I don't know what it was, but he used to say this song and it was like Peter Piper Picker Man, and then he had this friend named like like Zach or something. So he'd be like, Zach is a man with the what, and he would like shake his butt, and they would post it on Snapchat, and it was so freaking funny. Basically, he posted that video, and I was like, oh my god, that's like literally so freaking funny. It was like hilarious. And so I wrote him, and I was like, LMAO. And then we kind of just started talking. He's like, when am I gonna see you? He's like, I'm sick of this. Like, I have been waiting for like over a year to see you. When am I going to see you? And I was like, I know, I'm so sorry. It's just like, I just, you know, there's always something going on. It's always the wrong timing. And I was like, let's try to set a date, and I will for real commit this time, okay? For real. And you guys, I literally was ready to. I was like, you know what, Dakota? I'm tired of you going for these men who are just not up to par with you. You need to try something different. So I ended up telling him that I could do something around like this certain date. We ended up picking a date, and I, leading up to it, just realized, I was like, you know what? I'm not ready for a relationship right now. I just got out of one a couple months ago. I am not ready for a relationship, and I really need to just like sit back, take time for myself, and just be single for a bit. So I ended up texting him and telling him that. I was like, listen, I do want to see you. I really do. But I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like I'm not ready for a relationship right now. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. I was like, maybe in the future one day we could like be something great. But right now I'm just not ready. And I don't want to give you like 50% of me. I want to give you like 100% of me. I want to give you all of me, because that's what you deserve. You're an amazing guy. You have your life together. Like every box you check, it's not you, it's just me. So he understood, and he appreciated the communication. Months go by, and I remember I was like, you know what? I think that I want to go for Levi. I was like, you know what? I've been in these relationships with these toxic men. I'm ready for a good guy. Now, me and Levi had kind of been talking on and off a bit. Nothing serious. Like, he knew I loved Reese's. He loved Reese's too. So one day he went to a bakery shop, and he like snapped me a picture of like Reese's cupcakes. And I was like, oh my god, that looks so good. And like, we would like friendly banter back and forth. But then I kind of started wanting to get like serious. And I was like, let me see if he wants to hang out. So I end up Snapchatting him, going to Snapchat him, right? And I basically was like, hey, what's up? Like, what are you doing today? He opens it, he sees it, no answer. And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe he's working or something like that. Because at one point, he had changed his whole entire work schedule. I remember him saying to me, this was before I told him I wasn't ready for a relationship. He was like, yeah, I changed my whole work schedule. I'm gonna be like working better hours now, so now I'll have more time, we can hang out, like all of this stuff. And so I was like, okay, well maybe he's at work. But then I'm like, no, like he's not, because it's like 4 and I know that he took the shift at 6 to 3 now. I was like, what is he doing? So he didn't answer. So the next day rolls by, and I'm still left on red, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Tell me why. Hold on, I need my wine for this. I go onto Snapchat, and I see that he posted a video, and I'm like, oh, let me see what he's up to. I look at the video. It is this gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, blonde bombshell, beautiful girl, perfect teeth, amazing smile, dresses well, has this beautiful, long, voluptuous blonde hair, amazingly beautiful, perfect eyebrows. There's not one thing wrong with her. There's not one thing, you guys. There's not one single thing wrong with this girl. Nothing. Not one. And he posts her, and it's like a picture of them like going on a hike or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it's like his friend or something. Like, I don't know. Guys are allowed to have friends that are girls. And then I keep clicking, and I see a video of them holding hands, and then they're going out on a date, and then they're kissing. And I'm like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked up. This happens so many times in my life where I will have somebody who's genuinely interested with me, and I want nothing to do with them, and then the minute that I want something to do with them, they are in a relationship, or they are no longer available. And it's literally my fault. It's nobody else's fault but my own. But it's like, really? Like, timing, like, really? So I'm like so upset. I'm just like, okay, wow, of course the one time that I am ready for this guy and I want to talk to him, he has moved on. And rightfully so. I ghosted him so many times. I did so many messed up things. Like, he deserves a good girl. Flash forward, I'm seeing them go on vacations. They're going to Florida. They're going to Jamaica. They're going on cruises together. They move in with each other. They get a dog. They're going to each other's family's houses for Christmas. They have matching ugly sweaters. Flash forward to now, they are happily married, living in a beautiful house with a beautiful dog and having an absolute beautiful life. They are both flourishing, both happy, and they literally are like Ken and Barbie. I'm not even joking. Like, Ken and Barbie, they look absolutely perfect together. And it's one of those stories I look back on and I'm like, damn, like you see somebody who has this amazing life with this woman and you look back and you're like, damn, that could have been me. I was one decision away from having a life like this. I'm not gonna lie, it stung a little bit because I'm like, girl, use your discernment more. Like, what the heck? No, but honestly, you guys, here's the thing. Everything happens for a reason. And if I had gotten into a relationship with him, I really feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I went through a lot of things after me and him like basically stopped talking, and there are things that I turned into stories that I then turned into lessons for you guys, and my life just took a whole completely different turn after that. And I feel like if I had gotten in a relationship with him, or if we have gotten serious, that I wouldn't have learned the things that I have learned. I wouldn't have gone through the things that I would have gone through. I don't regret anything. I mean, okay, I regret ghosting him, that was messed up, but I also learned how to like grow up a bit and communicate a bit better and like not care so much about hurting other people's feelings, because the thing is that I don't like hurting other people. So what I do sometimes is I just completely like shut down and don't say anything, because me saying something would hurt worse than me not saying anything. So I avoid it altogether and run away from my problems. Thanks to therapy, I'm learning that that's not okay. This truly taught me that I needed to get myself in a position where I could receive a good man. I was not in the position at that time to receive a good man. And sometimes you have to look at your life and see the things that you have to fix in order to make yourself open and available for a good man to come through. And this story, Levi was a good fucking guy. And most of my stories, I'm telling you all of these crazy things about guys who are horrible and treat me bad and narcissistic, whatever, but Levi was a good guy. Good men do exist. I mean, look at him now. He has a wife, he's happy, they have a beautiful house together, a puppy, he's flourishing in his career. And unfortunately, wait, he deleted me off everything, because I went to try to go and look at our Snapchat messages so I could read them to you guys, because I still had them saved, and he deleted me. And I don't know when he deleted me, because I posted something like a year ago, I remember, on Snapchat, and I looked and I saw that he saw my story, and he was had been with this girl for like 2 years at that point. So like, why now? And then same thing with Facebook. He freaking deleted me off Facebook too. I can't say I blame him. I was just, yeah, I was not ready. I was not ready. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I hope that you learned something from it, took something from it, whatever the case may be. If you guys like this story, don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up, to leave a comment down below if you've ever been in any kind of car trouble or mess or anything like that, or if you ever like curved a really good guy for your stupid ex, and if you regret it or not. Don't forget to subscribe and join our Kotaku family. Turn your post notifications on by clicking the bell icon in the corner. That way you're notified every single time I post a video here on YouTube, period. Check out my personal development podcast, which is called Sis Let's Heal, available on all streaming platforms. And let's do today's post notification shout out. Today's post notification shout out goes to my girl Victoria. She said, so proud of you for hitting 20K. Victoria, I see you all the time in my Instagram lives, in my Instagram comments, on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Because of people like you, I can continue to come on here and I can continue to give you guys content and things like that. So thank you so much for being a part of my Coda Crew family. If you also want a post notification shout out, all you have to do is number 1, be subscribed to my channel, and number 2, turn the bell on for your post notifications. That way you're notified every single time I post a video. Leave a comment down below and I will pick my favorite one, and you possibly could be the post notification shout out for the next video. Don't forget to check Fixed out as well. Link is in the bio. So can we just talk about how Adrian apologized? I never saw that coming. Never saw it coming. Something has to be in the air. Something has to be in the planets. But can we talk about that down below as well? Bye guys.
Isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder. Baby, I wonder